let's say a person has a squat pattern problem. A squat pattern problem could be due to a shoulder mobility problem. So I'm going to take you through a flow here that shows you how you can improve not only the shoulder mobility, but how you can work that into improving their squat. Remember, these things don't work in isolation. Everything is connected. So if you got a squat pattern problem, the first thing you need to do is say, do you have a shoulder mobility problem? Do you have a hip mobility problem? Do you have an ankle mobility problem? The movement screen will tell you that. So we got an example right here of a person who's got a shoulder mobility problem with a squat pattern problem. So how do we work them both together? So we start by working on shoulder mobility. So I'm going to get Sam here, place that knee up. We're just going to do a rib grab situation, and he's got his head supported. So put this head up, Sam, so it's in line, and he's going to grab his ribs. We're going to sync our breath with our movement. So breathe in. And as you exhale, rotate around and turn that head, but don't let that knee come up. You get to a point where you get some tension. Instead of just doing our traditional sets and reps, let's work this flow. Inhale, and as you exhale, go a little further. So let's do 4 breath cycles instead of doing 4 reps. Call it breath cycles. Breathe in, and breathe out and go a little further. Remember, support that head, keep everything lined up. Breathe in. Exhale and go a little further. Pull those ribs around. We get through 4 or 5 breath cycles, flip over and do the same thing on the other side. We're in a supported spine position, so we're starting very low level, start on working those shoulders, but we need to think about shoulders impact the squat. So we're gonna make sure we get the squat involved. So now go ahead and breath cycle, support that head, get to a point of tension, breathe in, and as you exhale, go a little further. We're working on upper body mobility. Breathe in, go a little further. So 4 or 5 breath cycles. If you got one side that's a little tighter than the other, do that side, maybe a few more breath cycles to release that tension. Breathing and syncing your breath is really, really important. Breathing in different postures and positions, syncing your breath is really, really important. So now we're going to move into a different postural position. So now I'm going to get Sam in a hands and knees position. Now you see we're getting more into that squat pattern, increasing our postural position. Put your hand right here, Sam. Breathe in, and as you exhale, rotate up. Breathe in. As you exhale, rotate up. Now, another thing I'll get Sam to do in this position is drive this bottom hand into the ground. By driving that hand into the ground, it's actually helping him rotate. That's how we rotate. We press and we pull. Switch it up. So drive this hand into the ground. As you're driving that hand into the ground, exhale and rotate. Now I could have Sam rock back, take his butt back a little further. Now we're isolating out and focusing on more the upper back. The more Sam rocks forward, the more he's getting the entire spine. Let's focus on the upper back. So Sam, let's rock back and rotate. Exhale, get to a sticking point. Inhale. Exhale, go a little further, keep pressure on that down arm. Now we cycle through that. Now let's go right into what we call a Bretzel 2.0. Let's rock your butt all the way back. Now what is this? That's an overhead squat from a quadruped position. That's all it is. So now I'm going to take this arm, bring it through, and turn that head, and now reach, reach, reach. Upper body mobility, hip mobility. Cycle of breaths again. Breathe in, exhale, go a little further. Breathe in. Exhale, go a little further. Breathe in, exhale, go a little further. Now, let's get these feet involved. So after you do 4 or 5 breath cycles, come forward, Sam, load those toes, keep those toes loaded, rock back. We're going to repeat the same thing. Now we're loading these toes, getting the feet involved. Now we're going to rotate, rock back, take that hand and tuck it through, get that head on the ground. Let's get this kettlebell out of the way. We're going to use this here in a second. What are we going to do, Sam? Keep that arm straight up here. Cycle our breath. Breathe in. Now we got our rotation, hip, and we're loading those toes. Don't let those toes cave in. Saying load those toes up. Keep pushing back. 4 or 5 breath cycles. After every exhale, reach a little further. Every exhale, reach a little further. Good. Now, we got both sides here, same thing. If one side's tighter, we're going to do that side more. Now, let's go up a little bit more difficult postural position. So Sam, I'm going to get you here and get on your knees. So both knees are on here. Spread the knees out a little bit. I'm going to give you the kettlebell. He's going to grab that kettlebell behind him. Now I want him up nice and tall, nice and tall, nice and tall. Let those shoulders sink back. Relax those shoulders. Inhale. And as you exhale, rotate. So we're working on rotation, working on a little mobility around a good stable base. The last two things we've done is both stability and mobility. You get to a point of tension, what do? You breathe in, you exhale, go a little further. You breathe in, you exhale, go a little further. You get to a point where you're at the end of the motion, breathe in. Let's cycle a few breaths here. Let's get control. Let your breath relax the situation. Let's go this way. Come towards me. 4 or 5 breath cycles. Get away from the mindset of sets and reps. Get to a point of tension, breathe in. Don't let that upper body move. Keep the little bit of motion, the very little motion of the chest. That weight is simply allowing you to create better core engagement. Breathe in. Exhale, go a little further. And now relax, set the kettlebell down, Sam. Now come over here to the band. So now we're standing. So how do we reinforce good upper body mobility? Because we got his upper body moving. Now we're going to create some stabilization while we squat. So I'm going to put the band around Sam's shoulders. The band is anchored at a lower position, so now it's pulling him forward. And now what I'm going to get Sam to do, before he even does anything, don't lean back, Sam. Don't lean back. Just get used to the weight. Get used to this anterior force. Don't lean back. Then put your arms above your head. And then just feel how that is, because you don't want to have the person just leaning back and letting it. You want to get a good position, because now this is reactive neuromuscular training. By forcing him this way, his body's automatic response is sit up straight and pull those scapulas together. That's where we're working the upper body with the squat pattern, shoulder and squat. If we got both of these, this is where we're going to end up. So I've been talking. So Sam, go ahead and squat down, squat, come back up, and we do 4 or 5 reps here. Come back up. Good. Really pinch your shoulder blades. The band is forcing him to do it. I don't need to tell him to get his upper back up straight. The band is making him do it. The further Sam goes back, the more he's going to have to sit up. The closer he goes in, the harder the exercise will be. So less tension makes the exercise harder. The other thing we can do, if he really got a shoulder pattern problem, let's move the straps down to us just above his elbows. Now you can do the same thing, Sam. Pinch your shoulder blades together. Don't lean back. Don't lean back. Stand up nice and tall. Get those shoulders up. Squat back. Squat down. Good. Really working the upper body. So we got the upper body loosened up. Now we're working that with stability into the squat pattern problem. And finally, we can go all the way to his hands, which really forces good upper body stability as he goes through this exercise. Remember, don't just lean back. You see Sam really leaning back. Stand up nice and tall and go ahead and squat down. Good, and that's where it gets really tough. Most people, they get to this point, you either got to loosen, make it a little bit less tension on the band, or have them move a little bit closer. But most people that I've found stay at the shoulder level, stay at the elbow level. Again, the whole reason we're doing this is to work on shoulder mobility, working into the squat pattern problem. Don't just think you got a squat problem. If you have a squat inability to squat right, typically something else is driving it. In this scenario, it'd be a underlying shoulder problem that we work on, working you into a good squat. Now that you've gotten these squat and shoulder correctives down, watch this video to help with your decision-making process with corrective exercise.